All right, man. We live. We live. We are live. Hey, you're right on time.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
How you doing? This is Chris Jones. And what is your I know most sells at ATL, but what's the real the what do you go by?
Everyone calls me Mo. My whole name is Moemi. I'm Nigerian, but
Okay,
everyone called me
I'm gonna
Mo.
have to show you. I'm what are you, Yoruba or Igbo?
Oh, very nice. Okay, it's Yoruba.
Yoruba. Oh, okay, we cousins then.
Oh, you're Igbo?
No, I'm Yoruba, but
Oh, okay.
I'm American born. My dad's my grandparents, should I say. My
Wow.
dad was here when he was very, very young.
Bawoni.
I have no idea what that means. I'm very American. So, but yeah, but I am actually mixed. My mom's native.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
so I'm mixed, but you know, I still consider Nigel. My daughter's name is Nigel.
Oh, that's
You know
like
what I mean? So
we appreciate it. We
right.
appreciate
So
it.
when the last time you been to the continent?
So never.
You never been?
I, I
So
got
you're American as well.
he hit me with this. So it's a little complicated, but my dad worked for, like he's really good with engineering. So he
Hmm.
started off in Nigeria. He had a scholarship to I forgot what the university is in North Carolina. That's where he met my mom, and then he got a contract out in Puerto Rico with the American government with some kind of project, and then I came to be, and then he moved back to the states like 3 4 years later after the contract ended.
Gotcha. Yeah, we have similar backgrounds. So just real quick, I know we're on air, so
Yeah,
I was gonna,
yeah.
yeah, I was gonna get into like your story anyway, as the introductory. But after we introduce everybody, we still got a couple of panelists that's dragging behind, so they should be logging on here soon.
Yeah, no problem.
But real quickly, my grandparents was in the oil and gas, and they came to Louisiana to for Phillips 66. They opened a plant out there in Harahan, Louisiana, and that was when my dad was the eldest. That's when my dad was very young,
Oh, okay.
and that's they were the oil and gas. My grandfather is very very well known in Nigeria. That's our last name is Dixon. That's our real last name.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
but he's very well known because he invented the gauge for the gas the fuel when you gas
Yeah,
up the car the actual um what's it called, the actual where it guarantees you the amount of gas that you're pumping.
yeah.
Yeah,
That doesn't surprise me because a lot of Nigerians or people from Nigeria are really smart with math and
right,
science,
right,
and we actually like there's a I forgot what the city's called, but it's the fountain of knowledge.
right,
So a lot of people credit Nigerians for being so smart because of the fountain of knowledge being in Nigeria.
right. I definitely get my sports from my dad's side. All of my a lot of my two of my aunts are PhD. My goddaughter's a PhD.
Yeah.
So yeah, they all super smart.
Oh yeah, the reunions are like so funny because it's like,
Right,
oh, so and so's a nurse now,
right. We
or
can
so
we competitive.
we
Yeah,
just bought a jet. What are you doing? I'm like,
right.
oh,
Right. That's the only thing I don't like about my dad's side. He's super competitive. How much money? How much money does that make?
yeah, exactly. It's like
What is
you're a
what is what
doctor.
is what is what is the consultant? How much money does that make?
What kind of doctor?
Right. you know. So, but now let's go ahead and get it started. Let's go ahead with the introductions. I know Corey's running a little bit behind. He just texted me, so let's go ahead and start with the introduction. I'm gonna start, and let's let the I guess Mo. You have a last name, or you just go by Mo?
I just go by Mo.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna just go. I'm gonna introduce the show. Let's go ahead and introduce ourselves, and then let's go ahead and get into it. Again, my name is Brandon B. Dixon. I am a published author. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm a mortgage broker by trade. NMLS 154-1210. My book, Sales the Nucleus of Any Profession, is out right now on Amazon. So y'all copy of that right now. If you're into real estate, if you're ready to make that purchase this year, go to my website, www.applywithb. Or if you're trying to book me for a Zoom consultation, go ahead. That's the website to do it. Also, if you're ready for a condo or a one of those bad townhouses, go to our website, www.houstonCondoSales.com. You can check my rates at any time. Go to what's today's rates. So somebody was just asking me about that before I got on air. So I pointed them there and they were amazed. So also YouTube at Billionaire Loan Officer. So we got 3 shows that's going right now. We got home tours with myself, CJ the Realtor, Home Tours Lux and Express. I got Behind the Sauce where I'm showing you the lifestyle, and then I got my podcast, The Power of Ownership, that's been going for 6 years strong. So last thing, at Billionaire Loan Officer on all social media. So please, I'm trying to get my Twitch followers up, and I'm trying to get the Rumble followers up. So Rumble, Twitch, I'm on Truth Social, the new Trump social media platform, YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. So get at me, build up the followers, please. For y'all, if y'all follow me on one platform, please follow me on all. So Mo, I'm gonna let you go ahead and take it from there. You can go ahead and introduce yourself, and we go from there. And so go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell them where you're from, what market you, where they can reach you at, so on and so forth.
All right. My name is Mo. I am a realtor here in Atlanta. I've been doing real estate, or I've been in real estate for 8 years. I've been licensed for just over 5, almost 6 years. I started as an internship from college. So I was attending Southern Poly University because I was planning to be a speech pathologist.
Okay.
And I was like, super excited for that. And then it was like senior year, and we got accompanied by, or we got taken over by Kennesaw. So it kind of changed my path a little bit, and I got into real estate in a weird way like that. So, yeah. But yeah, I been doing it for mostly residential. The last 2 years, I got more into the short-term rental side, just to kind of play with it, and I really enjoyed it. But now I'm starting to get back into the actual grind of it all, everyday real estate kind of tasks, because I kind of deviated once it got kind of too big for the Airbnb side. But I started to manage and delegate, and that helped out a lot. So, but I'm really happy that I did that. So.
Gotcha. Well, we're going to dig a little bit deeper into your story here shortly, but Barry, you're up.
Hey, everybody, how you doing? This is Barry B. Hey, how you doing? Keller Williams Professionals. You can go to my site, www.homesbybarryb.com. I'm on Facebook, IG. Just Google Homes by Barry B. You'll get me. My number is 832-786-1270. So if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in Houston and surrounding areas, give me a call, give me a message, an email, and let's get it started for 2023.
Yes, sir. CJ, what you going? I got you queued up.
All right. What's up, everybody? It's CJ the Realtor here. And check me out on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. CJ Sales Texas at CJSELLSTX. Hit me up if you have any questions on selling, buying, investing, leasing. 832-338-3182. Check out the website greenwoodrealtytx.com and check out the new listings. There'll be more coming up. It's the beginning of the year, so got a lot more activity popping. Things kind of slowed down at the end of the year. Now it's back going. So check that out. And then also, if you're YouTube, I don't know if you got that on there, B, but check out the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
The Realtor. Say what?
I have it. I was just putting a link in the chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, CJ the Realtor. We got the Lux edition of the home tours here in Houston. If you want to see what Houston has to offer on the luxury side, we're doing private tours, 4K, getting to see the ins and outs of these beautiful homes. So check that out. There'll be some more coming down the pipe on that too.
Oh, you forgot about this?
Nah, last but not least.
Right.
No, we give back, man. So the nonprofit, the Mansa Academy, teaching our young men knowledge of self-improvement, and entrepreneurship. So if you're interested in learning more, you want to donate, you want to not just your money, if you want to donate your time, you want to be a mentor, check out the website. Forms are on there to sign up, donate financially, whatever. So we appreciate everything. So give that a shout. Check out the website, www.themansaacademy.org.
Gotcha. So yeah, Corey's trailing as usual. So, but let's go ahead and start it off, man. I'm looking for my banner right now. Here we go. We talked last week about goals. I got a couple questions this week for the panel. But I want to talk. First of all, I want to talk about the difference between the Georgia market and the Texas market. So if we could kind of talk about that, like what do you the differences that you see, like on both sides for just purchases and for the investor side, like what's popular out there? Is it like I give you example, so.
Hold on, I'll tell you, it sucks in Georgia for the rental side for the short term because they shut that down over there.
Right.
That's messed up. Then they limit to like 2 properties per person. Was that the new rule?
So it's 3 properties per LLC.
Okay.
Right.
So yeah, that's messed up.
I give you example what I'm talking about. I'll let y'all go from there. What I give you that for like multifamily. It's damn near impossible in Houston.
Yeah.
Unless the finance or house hack. If you got cash or if you build your own, yes, that could happen. It's possible in Houston. It's almost virtually impossible that I've seen. If you're talking about the metropolitan area to get the house hack, I've done 80 something people, and I have 0 contracts. How's Georgia? That's how is Georgia? Is Georgia the same? I mean, is Atlanta the same way? Is it impossible in Atlanta? Do you have to go in the outskirts? Like, what's kind of situation?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Yeah.
So I've always told people for the last 2 or 3 years, multifamily is kind of difficult to get into, especially in Georgia, because one, FHA and most conventional won't cover it. So most people don't have the funds to actually go cash or have the means or the connections to fund or to have the funds together in order to acquire those properties to actually see such a good profit in order to keep it going. So the first thing is usually, okay, so what's the next thing better? So they can usually settle for like the single family with a basement or something with, like a side attachment. But lately, in the last, I want to say 6 months, I'm starting to, well, I didn't say I'm starting to, but last year I've been learning more about seller finance. So I am finding more deals where people are willing to seller finance, and it's usually coming out to about the same down payment as if they were to have gotten it with the FHA loan. So if you can kind of work those, and those take a while to work, they can still happen. So I've had 2 or 3 of those.
Gotcha. So it's pretty much you're echoing the Houston market. What's some of the key differences that you see or that you've heard of? Like what's the hot item? What's like hot right now in Atlanta, the ATL area? Like Mo.
I'm so sorry. Okay, so
Mo, you're the Atlanta expert tonight.
I didn't know you were doing it too. I
just saw that on the news. I only serve Houston. So.
Okay, I got you. All right.
So far.
I think people, or at least I guess the way my business have been going, it's been going more towards like 400, 500K newer construction. They don't want to be too far away from the city, but you obviously can get something like that in the city. So you're talking about Austell, Douglasville. On the other side, you have Stone Mountain. Just a few of those suburbs that are just around Georgia. So you have the 285 perimeter, and that's what everyone says inside the perimeter. That's Atlanta. And then outside the perimeter is like the suburbs. So that's usually what I'm seeing right now is those newer constructions or just lived in the last 4 years.
Gotcha. So that's somewhat similar. I mean, we have the builders out here, you know, in this market, but they're kind of scattered throughout. So you have some that's building in the inner loop, you know, that's you know, those gentrified areas that they kind of rehashing. But you do have on the outskirts, they're building the suburbs as well. But you have a mixture. You have a mixture of the rehabs that's really popular out here. That people are taking the older homes, especially inside the loop, and you know, making them turnkey.
Yeah.
You know, and then what's the craze out here is townhouses. The townhouses are popping up. I've done quite a few in ATL as far as the townhouses, but not as much as the outskirts, the single family home outskirts, kind of is what the deal is out there.
Yeah, those are cheaper. We get those. Those are in the lower range, which are still hot. You know, I mean, it's just from what I'm seeing, people are still wanting the spaciousness if they can afford it. So I'm starting to see them hold out for that little bit of yard instead of wanting to go into a condo. And that's my first suggestion. I'm like, let's just go into a condo because you don't want a big house. No one believes me until they get into the big house.
Right.
They're like, man, this house is huge. I got a lot of problems. I'm like, I know.
Right,
I told you that the condo was going to be a little bit better. And then 2 years, just, you know, go get a bigger house. So I'm like, you know, I think that's interesting that people are still wanting this. I think they just want the bigness, you know, like house.
Right.
I want
and that separation so they have their own privacy and stuff.
It's the dream. So I'm like, for me as a realtor, we see it so much as a, you know, as an obstacle. We can see people wait 2, 4, 7 years for the perfect house. In our minds, we're like, well, if you had just gotten a condo, stayed in it for 2 years, move, you know, and in our heads, we start thinking like that. So I try my best to work through that with my clients. I'm like, I understand where you're coming from. And from my experience, this is what I've seen. Now, what do you want to do? And I just kind of present all the data as it kind of falls. But they usually always want the big house.
Gotcha. Fellas, jump in. What's hot right now that you're seeing? What's the trend in Houston? Just for you know, and kind of, you know, what's like biting on, you know, what are they looking for? Is it condos? I mean, I know I've seen a lot of maybe because I have the website, but the townhouses, you know, a lot of townhouses I've seen. Actually, last year the new construction kind of cooled off. It was booming in 21, you know, but
they got greedy.
Yeah, I know the builders went crazy.
Those builders started getting greedy. They started I know it's a couple that started giving zero commissions to realtors and so you know they just got greedy and but I've seen the recently, and I've seen a lot of sales or discounts or whatever specials coming out lately for our new home builders, especially in like with us in those suburbs. I've seen a lot in like Fulshire, like getting further out, like Fulshire, and I've seen some in Sealy and Conroe. So it's like they're getting further out, but they're offering specials.
Right. We talked about that last week a little bit, where you know you might could get that home if you're talking about if you're willing to commute, you know, and their budget, because you know yesterday's prices are not today's prices. So you know if you want all of your checklist, you might have to go out further, you know, and you know make that you're gonna spend it back with gas, but you know what I mean. You might have to go electric, you know, in a second. But if you want all those amenities, you might have to go out, you know, and go out to those developing areas where they're trying to get people there so they could get the businesses in, you know. So
yeah, we're pretty much experiencing the same thing here. One thing I did notice is that the earnest money compared to last year for new construction is a lot different, because last year I think they were asking for a lot of money. I think 15,000 certain neighborhoods, 20,000. Now they're back to 5,000, 3,000, and then we have a lot more builder incentives. The 2-to-1 buy down rate, the 3-to-1 buy down rate. So, and they're, you know, a lot more nicer.
Right. Well, the market isn't on fire where they can.
Yeah, it's not on fire anymore.
Water and cookies now, and wine. So that's nice.
Right. So they back to customer service now.
Yeah.
Right. So before we get off this question, CJ, what you got? What you seen like hot lately? And what's the latest trend? What's going into 23? What you're seeing in this market?
I mean, I think it's a mix because it just depends on the client. Because you think about the ones that have the families with the small kids, they still want to be out in the suburbs for the better schools.
Right.
But then at the same time, you got those empty nesters that don't want the big house no more, and then they want to move in with the condos and townhouses. So it all depends on where they're at in life, because it doesn't serve them anymore to be out in the suburbs if the kids are all in college or grown and they got this big house to take care of and it's just them two. Like that, they're not with that no more. Like they want to move in and have fun.
That's what I'm going through now. Empty nester. I might get that condo inside the loop in a second. I'm in the suburbs now. I'm paying these high tax for the school tax. So I might do the same thing this year. So keep, we might have to talk, CJ, in a minute. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking about doing something this summer.
Check out HoustonCondoSales.com, man.
Hit the website. I'm on there every day, me. So I'm looking for that right one. That right one come through. I'm gonna have to do something. But switching gears a little bit, I want to do this question. I think this question will be fun. What because January is all about New Year's resolutions and motivation. So let's talk. I got to do it, man. Let's talk. What would you tell a customer right now to motivate them if they're on the fence? What would you give me your elevator pitch on what you need to motivate yourself to go ahead and buy right now? Give me your best shot. Give me your best. Tell them. Go in. Tell them, who want to kick it off?
Oh man.
I tell them that this is your best time to buy. The competition is not there like it was, so you can get you won't have 20 other offers. Rates are good. One thing I know, look, the rates are good. If the rates stay the same, you win. If the rates go down, you refinance. If the rates go up, you still win. So you're in a good situation. It's time to do it.
Right.
Like that old saying, make your next move your best move.
Right. What you got, CJ? You want to take this one next?
I mean, that's it. It's like you gotta understand. You gotta understand when the opportunity is in front of you.
Right.
Like, and we talked about a million times. Like, you got to take the emotion out of it and look at it as a business decision.
Right.
Because you focus on the wrong thing when you just focus on the rate. When you see prices dropping, you see activity slow, you can jump in. Like Mo was talking about, these 2-1 buy down, 3-2-1 buy downs. If you can get a property where you get a seller contribution, and those payments on the first couple of years are crazy low, and give you time to refinance when rates drop again, it's a win-win. But you're too laser focused in on the rate. So you got to take a step back and understand what the opportunity looks like.
Right. Mo, you want to take a stab at it? What's give it your motivate this client to move?
So I was just talking to, and I always tell stories. So I was talking to a client today, and she was like, I got this letter, and it says like my house is worth $700,000. Is that true? I'm like, no, Mama Sean, that's not true. She's like, well, and I bought, I helped her get the house about 2 years ago, or it was in 2019, right before COVID.
4 years ago now. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like right at like December 2019, and it was so hard. Like so many things kept happening. Horrible lender. I mean, I cried. It was drawn out for like 6 months. So anyway, we closed it. Got a great rate. She calls me. I do a CMA for her. She's like, I'm not interested in moving. I just want to see how much, equity we've had. So they've earned over $100,000 in equity since 2019.
Correct. Right.
And I'm like, oh, how is it out there? She's like, it's nice, but the neighbors are, because it's out, You know, it's out there. So she's like, the neighbors are, but you know, I think we can do it. I'm like, well, you guys could qualify for another home. What's your interest rate? And she goes, oh, I think it's like 2.3.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, what's important to you? The mortgage, monthly mortgage, or the interest rate itself? And she's like, how much I pay a month? I'm like, exactly. So I'm like, if you were to move right now with the interest rate of 6%, 7%, with the same exact house, you're looking at that much more in monthly payment. Mm-hmm. So is the interest rate important to you, or is the house more important to you? And she said, my house. So I'm like, at the end of the day, people are always going to want a lower monthly payment, and we can take advantage of the 3-to-1 buy down rate.
Right.
That's literally securing your equity in the next 2 to 3 years, and you can always refinance if the rate changes. So just hit them with that.
Right. Yeah. There's all kind of products. The 3-2-1. We talked about that before as well. Before I get into mine, you know, I got to go deep. You know, I gotta get on the pole pit. Okay. You know, with mine. But Cheryl Merritt says that now the builders are giving back us upwards of 3% commission. She said nothing lasts forever. LOL. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is real estate. It's a roller coaster. It ebbs and flows. You know, you have to be prepared. It's not one of those you could hokey pokey. You know, you got to be in, and you got to be in it. You know, you got to be steadfast because it's a cycle. It's gonna come back around. But you can't. If you boom out one year, you can't ball out, flex, and then you be chicken one day, feathers the next. You know what I mean? So you got to prepare for those cycles. You know, in this particular business. So a lot of people won't be around next year. You know, unfortunately, you know, because they went and got the PPP and went out there and balled out, flexed for the gram, and then it dried up last year. And then it's going to be a minute before it starts booming back like it was during the. I don't think it's ever going to boom like it was the pandemic. You get hit with anything. You could be a rookie and do $1 million deal like it was nothing because so many people were buying. But now you got to dig and you got to actually be a business and market now, and that's what separate the adults from the children. You know, so that's the men from the women. I mean, the men for the boys, the women for the girls, the whole nine. But my pitch would be this, man. Everybody know I'm big into football. I love football. I'm gonna buy the Saints probably in the next 10 years. You know, you can mark my words. You know, so but we had a tragedy last night during Monday Night Football. So, you know, prayers up for number 3. So, you know, on that note, I think life is too short. Life is just a series of moments. So I don't get why, especially with things like this, what's the wait for? What are we pushing? Why are we pushing things off? And this, especially with something that could benefit you, and it's all in your head. It's all fear of the unknown. That's all it is.
Yeah, I see miscommunication a problem in real estate a lot.
Yeah. Right, and I'm talking about for a client. I rent the next couple of years. I lost all that money. That money could have been something for something else later on in life that propelled me to something else. Everything, you know, the small things are the big things. You know, a lot of, and especially in our community, we preach this every week with our community. Like, what are we waiting for? What are the advantages of waiting and renting and continue to throw away money? You know, besides fear.
And I think it's like 6% of homeowners are Black.
Right. It's a fear. And it's fear. People fear what they don't understand or they can't comprehend. And I don't get that when it's the information age.
Yeah, it's out there.
We're talking real estate here. You know what I mean? We're talking real estate. Hold on, let me put my banner back up. Bam. We talking real estate here for you. We're here and we're extending the helping hand to help you get to where you need to be, because this is a necessity.
Yeah, I think the number one thing I hear when people reach out to me is that, you know, you make the information so easy to understand. And when I try to pry deeper, when people are like telling me certain things that they're just not catching on, it feels as though they're just going to the wrong resources or outdated websites or things that are just essentially popping up on Google. So what you Google for real estate is what everyone is seeing and what they're trying to digest, and that's news articles that aren't necessarily, the truth. That's outdated websites that aren't necessarily current anymore, and they just have the highest, Google ad spend. So when I'm talking to people, I'm like, okay, so how did you try to educate yourself? And the biggest next thing is usually YouTube, or I go out to social media and I Google, or I put in the search bar Instagram, and then one of your videos came up. So I'm like, I think education is always going to be our biggest, especially for us in our community. And it hurts sometimes because I'm like, I'll preach to like the end of the day about real estate, and I'll still have really close friends that don't use me. And it took me like the first 2 or 3 years to realize, I'm like, well, Mo, this person still reached out to you. They still told you helped them. It wasn't as if, your efforts didn't go unnoticed. It's just something happened and they chose to go with someone else. And they'll usually tell me, I still learned so and so from you. You still taught me how to do this. And I'm like, well, that's what counts. You know what I mean? Like, and it took me a while to let my ego, like, well, they didn't use me. We're not friends anymore. And I was like, well, forget that. And I'm like, but Mo, what if they're already listening to you and they already apply the things and they just didn't choose you this time? There's something with the trust. And I'm like, ideally, I want to be that realtor that helps my clients make more money. And the goal is to buy a house every 2 years. So I'm like, so I missed them the first 2 years. I can condition them for another 2 years and I can get that next sale. And I can teach them every day through another reel. And as long as they're following, usually they always follow me. And most of my deals come from friends, but it's like pouring gas with social media. So it's like, oh, I saw that you did a video of the 2 most common loans, or I saw you did a video of how to increase your credit. So it's like doing stuff like that and educating them every single day, even though it might not seem like anyone's listening. And I'll still have people that are like, oh, I saw you today, but I saw all your past 100 videos and I studied you. I want to use you. And it's like, man, they only got 2 views when I first posted that, but now it has 100 views. And that one person going back to see that one video is that one thing that decides for them to use you. So I'm like, as much as it hurts sometimes in our pride, I feel like especially for us, it's such a spiritual kind of aspect to it, because it's like we have to take your own self out of it. It's just the information. We have to serve our people, and no matter how that might affect us. It took me a while to realize there's a balance to that as well. You can't help everyone, obviously, because you still have a business to run. But at the end of the day, I feel like as long as you preach what you're supposed to be doing and you're supposed to be sharing information to help people, that's all that matters.
Right. Well, let's linchpin that, because I want to get to that. I want to say this first. I strongly suggest you get a copy of that book. My book by this guy named Brandon B. Dixon. It's called Sales: The Nucleus of Any Profession. But I'm gonna get to why in a second. But I just want to finish what I was saying about the motivation for our people. Is like I think what happens with us, especially in our community, I think it's the peer pressure of rejection, and I think they're scared to get, because think about it. Our people go to the car lot all the time and know they don't have any credit, but they'll apply for cars and credit and try to get cars that they can't afford. Well, why not a house? This is more important, right? So hold on a second. Here goes Corey. Well, let's see how this shuffles us around. Man, Corey, what's going on?
And it equaled out just right. What's going on, good peoples?
Cool.
Right.
Happy New Year to y'all.
Happy New Year, man. Happy New Year. Hey, I'm gonna finish this thought, but I want to get your question prime, man. The question on the table right now is, what would you tell your client right now to motivate them to buy right now? What would you had an elevator pitch? What give your best elevator pitch on the buy right now? I'm just finishing mine, but after I finish mine, you can go ahead and roll with yours. But I say, man, I think with us is just fear, and we don't have time to be wasting. Life is short, life is fragile, life is precious. You don't know when's your time. So why not maximize every day? Why not play? Why not do the most that you could do? Because it's we making it relatively easy now. You have the resources to educate yourself, like Mo was saying. You have the what's the worst that could happen? You get turned down, okay. But at the same time, it's a lot of us don't even try. They already have in our mind, like we talked about a couple of shows ago. Coming out of college, I'm going to rent me an apartment. Why? When you could buy, like Mo was saying earlier, you could buy a condo for a couple of years, 3-4 years, and let that equity work for you. Now you got a nice nest egg when you decide to sell it or move. As opposed to all that money, you got $1,500 a month going for rent, and when you look up 3-4 years later, you didn't. It's about $40,000-$50,000. It's going out the window. That's going out somebody else's last name instead of your last name. You see what I'm saying? So we got to think about this. We're behind as far as looking at where you put your head at as just a place to stay. We got to look at it as a part of making money work for you. So what would you say to that, Corey? Corey, introduce yourself first. And then yeah, you ready?
Yeah, for sure. Corey Smith, your top mortgage lender. I think B hit on a couple of good points. I missed a whole bunch of points that were probably made beforehand. But you're saying if I had to give my best elevator pitch, it would just essentially be harping on two things. One thing is that there's less competition out there now because everybody's running scared. Now is the time that you can ask for the kitchen sink, you can ask for the their firstborn child, you can ask for everything and have a successful chance of getting it. Mm-hmm. The second thing is that it costs too much to wait. Right. It costs entirely too much to wait. You know what I'm saying? Like from a renting standpoint, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure somebody has already hit on that. Like you're wasting money, you know what I'm saying, on rent because you see none of that back as far as a return. But now just waiting and not getting in now, you're losing the equity appreciation within that you're going to actually get. The principal buy down within the property that you're going to get. There's a realtor partner of mine that I just talked to today, and she actually has a listing that she is actually selling for a 22-year-old. The 22-year-old actually decided straight out of college to actually go ahead and purchase a property. She purchased the property. She is going to get wired to her $100,000. And the reason why she's selling it because she is about to go ahead and get married. Now that she's getting married, she has $100,000 nest egg to take into the marriage to go purchase another property. Now, if she took the mindset of, I'm too young right now, you know what I'm saying? That stuff you do when you're 30 or whatever the case may be, she wouldn't have had that $100,000 start that a lot of other youngsters don't have.
Right.
So I say that to say, you know what I'm saying, it costs too much to wait. You got to get in now.
Right.
I like that.
One other story before and if anybody else want to add any more to that, any more motivation. I don't know if you heard about the story of Austin where they had this little I think they spent like $40,000 on his house. Now it's worth $10 million. And it's like they built up everything else around it, and it's like the last house before they could, go ahead and complete this project. So somebody just accepted the offer for $10 million on this. It's about 1,300 square feet house. You can Google it. It's on. So the $10 million for a $1,300 square foot house. So it's it's always worth something. It's never going to be worth zero. You got what I'm saying? And nobody's going to pick the house up and steal it. So it's one of the safest investments that you could do. So I'm not sure why we run from this and why. I know convenience, and it's not as we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. It's actually more stringent process to actually get approved for an apartment complex rent a house than it is to buy a house nowadays. I could, I will help you fill out the application. I do all the work. All you got to do is pick out the house. I mean, Corey, am I right?
You're 100% right.
I'll help you do the application if you want. Like, you know what I mean? So it's I'll walk you through the process. So I don't get what's so what's so difficult about it. Y'all want to add anything else to this motivation wise before I go to the next topic?
I know one thing that you said.
With motivation, like this is more education than that, because like you can lose motivation easy.
Right.
Like you be motivated, and the next minute you lost it. So this is more about educating and making sure people know what their real options are.
Right.
Yeah, I know one thing that you were talking about, B, when you were going through it, and you was talking about how it's important, or how important it is more to get the housing when somebody comes out of college, they want to get an apartment.
Right.
And I think that, like I said, that comes to education, that a lot of people don't understand that buying a house is business.
Right.
They don't understand it. I mean, even when I was growing up, I mean, when you get out of high school, go to college, what's the first thing you want to get? You don't want to buy a house.
Yeah.
You want to buy what? A car. You either gonna get a car.
First. Yeah, of course.
You're gonna get the car first, because that's more important. Because you don't know that house is more important than that car.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so like I said, that goes back to that education. You got to let our people know that this is more important. I saw a thing from I don't know if y'all remember Baby Boy, Guns and Butter.
Somebody actually made that a meme. Somebody actually made that a meme. I was like, finally, somebody, I've been waiting on that meme. But yeah, I mean, I think it's conditioning of the culture as well. It's baked into the culture to be the tallest midget. To be the tallest dwarf amongst midgets. The struggle culture. I like the struggle. Like why are we doing this? So I'm gonna do the opposite, what helps me out. So I think it's baked into the culture. Like we gotta reverse that. Like, all right, I understand that. That you. And that's again, I'm all over the place with this, but it's frustrating. But
I was gonna say, at least for my age range, and I'm turning 30 in May, I see a lot of objection with my age range. One of the things being, I saw my parents go through the whole 2008, 2009 thing, but like you said, I'm starting to see more 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds straight out of college. And they're telling me, I've educated myself, and their parents didn't go through what our parents did. And I think that kind of scarred some of the people in my generation, whereas the newer people that are on YouTube, that are following Gary Vee, that are really immersed in the whole business aspect where we're not taught in school. Because again, I went to Kennesaw State in senior year. I decided to take an internship for real estate, and I left the whole school behind. So It took me just one whole summer to realize this isn't it. Like the student debt isn't it. The real estate, how quick you can make it, and how quick you can, because I was working with a wholesaler at the time who was an agent for Keller Williams City side. So I got to see him doing the real estate part and doing the actual flipping. And he was like an ex-contractor. So he was doing all of it. So he was flipping the houses, selling them, getting the commission, building up all these other, little connections all in Smyrna. So he really put himself in a position to be that person. So once I really started seeing how he was operating, I'm like, why am I in school? Like I got, he started, I started helping him out, and he was like, well, I'll cut you in on deals. And I got my first check from him. So I was being paid hourly, like $9, which I thought was awesome back in 2014. So I was like, oh, this is nice. And then he gave me like a $5,000 check. And I was like, oh, I'm not going back to school. Like, I'm like, we got to do this like once a month, and I'm good. So I was like, I just got to help you with the one deal. So I started cranking out 3 deals, and then eventually he was like, "You need to be licensed." So I was like, "Okay." So we got to that point, but up until then, it was like I loved it. So I was like, for me, I didn't get that education in college. I didn't get it in high school. I didn't learn about any of that until my internship. So I was like, and most of people I feel like can't get to actually get into the business, let alone being the opportunity to understand where the money comes from. And once I feel like you understand where the money comes from and how quickly it can really build on itself, you're just like, why isn't anyone else talking about this? And I'm just like, the education just wasn't there for us.
Right. Well, we go. That's a good segue, but that's kind of the next segment that I want to get into. But let's read. Cheryl said, "So much needed conversation and education is key. The unfortunate thing is the average age of the first time Black homeowner is mid-40s, and that's correct. I think I want to say this, and then I open it up if y'all want to comment on this. I think the whole thing, again, the condition of the culture is baked in our culture to have arrested development. I think we've been kind of bamboozled to be a teenager from until 35. And that's, if you look at us, we still with the hat on backwards in the 30s and stuff like that. We don't really get serious,
Skinny jeans.
Until like mid-30s. Then we'll rent a little while, and then all right, once we get that good job, and then the credit start getting in, then we start looking for home. But by then, everybody else is on their third, fourth, fifth house, and they're having those houses facilitate their dream home.
The vacations, the big weddings,
right.
All of it.
And what happens a lot, CJ and I come across this a lot, too much, is that when you get the spinster or the older Black guy, they want the dream house, in the late 40s and late 50s, they want the dream house, but they got the smudgy budget.
Condo.
And they don't understand that those people that you see in the $1 million houses, they're not paying that note. The houses, their rental houses are paying that note. So you can't work a job. I mean, you can, but most people don't work a job and pay $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month for the mortgage. Most people have they go to either put a large down payment down from equity from other homes, where they don't have to pay taxes on it, or they're going to use their rentals to actually pay that note where it's not coming.
They got some passive coming in.
Say it again.
I was gonna say they got that passive money coming in.
Passive money coming in, but they're not going to do a $10,000 note. So I mean, this is what it is. So I'll open it up from there. You don't want to talk about the mid-40s ownership that I can. Y'all want to say anything of that? Are y'all ready to go?
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, that's what you see, because I know my mom when my mom bought her first home, she was in her 50s.
Right.
Her first one.
Right.
Like our community got so conditioned on relying on the government, nobody thought about home ownership.
Right.
So we gotta break that whole mindset of being reliant and being self-reliant on ourselves.
Right. Well, that's one of the ways I get out of bed is like I said, I'm trying to make it convenient. Trying to be the conduit for y'all to come on the other side. Because you're not. I don't want to say you're not. It's going to be very difficult to achieve that financial freedom without real estate. If you look at Trump to actually just release his tax return. The reason why, one of the biggest reasons he don't pay taxes is because of his real estate portfolio, his commercial real estate portfolio. But instead, we rather sit there and pay. I was watching one of those athletes the other day. He was talking about how much you actually get paid. It's because you don't have real estate. Yeah. That's why Uncle Sam's hitting you for 55%. It was 56. It was in New York, so 57% of his income is gone.
Where if you had depreciation working for you,
right? So this isn't. We're not preaching this because we want to get paid. We're going to get paid because I'm not a charity, but I'm preaching this because we're trying to be the conduits of change that we want to see. I want to see the change. I want to see just as much, because it's not hard. That's what I'm saying. This is not a difficult thing.
Well, again, I think there's just so much information out there that people are just really, and I'm one of those people where if I learn something, I'm gonna stick to it. So I'm like, they really do truly believe they're right sometimes. And it's, for me at least, I have to do in such a loving, educational way. Like, no, here's this article, here's this data. Now tell me what you think. And it's just like, oh, well, so, but where did you get this? You know, it always comes down to like, this is verified versus wherever they're getting it from. So I'm like, I run into that all the time. Like, people literally just on Instagram, like, you shouldn't get into real estate, get into stocks instead. It's a scam. And these are our people.
Right.
And I'm like, sir, do you have real estate? Like, why would you say that? And these people have a lot of followers, and people are listening and liking it, and they take that from Instagram, and in their heads that's the truth. And it's like, well, I saw on Instagram.
Right.
It had 100,000.
They say, you know.
Right.
And that's why I'm like, it's such a weird authority in our life, but now it's something where we actively have to work against. And I'm like, you're always having to actively work against so many things. And that's one of the newer things that I find that's so frustrating, because they might not admit that at first. It might take some digging for them to admit where they got this information. So it's like, oh, well, I'll send you the video. And then in the Instagram chat, I'm like, this dude is a scam. Scam artist. He went to jail. He has no authority to be talking about real estate. And I pull out all their seats. So I'm like, no, we're not doing any real estate trust today. We're going to go ahead and get you into this job for 2 years. Get an FHA loan and do it the right way and keep it going for 2 years. So I'm like, it's so simple and it's step by step. But yeah, I think people want to make it so overcomplicated because it is so hard.
I've noticed that as well. You know, they overcomplicate it. You know, you're making a mountain out of molehill. They always should say. So you're making it overcomplicated. It's really, really a simple process. Just switching gears a little bit. Is that Echo? Y'all saying something? Echo?
It must be Echo.
Yeah, because we only have a few more minutes, but I wanted to get into this. I want to, staying on the motivational theme. I want to go around the panel and ask, what's the winning formula for home ownership in 2023, or getting into real estate investing? So both sides. So getting that passive income. What's your formula for success, and what will be your formula for success as far as this? If you're a first-time home buyer or want to get into, you're new to home ownership. So I want to go around. Anyone want to start it off, or you want to go clockwise, counterclockwise? How y'all want to do
it? Look, I'll kick it off. I'm fine with that. My biggest thing is, you know what I'm saying, there really is no secret sauce to me. Mm-hmm. You know, if you want to purchase a house, the number one thing you got to do is you got to be determined in order to do it. We as resources can only do so much. We can't come sit in your living room, put a computer in front of you and say, hey, we need you to download these documents and send these documents to us. Mm-hmm. We need you to make sure you pay people on time. That's stuff that we can't do. We can be here to help you out. We can be here to answer any questions that you may have, whatever. But if you don't have that determination to purchase a property and to do what you need to do to purchase a property, nothing else above that even matters.
So your would be determination. You got to have determination over everything. That's
determination.
What about on the other
side? It ain't complicated. It's simple.
What about on the flip side? Whatever you want to make some money. Whatever you want to get the bags up. What's your formula on that?
Same thing.
Huh?
Determination.
Gotcha.
Determination. Look, if you want to start a business, you got to be determined in order to take the steps in order to do what you need to do. Mm-hmm. If you want to open up a daiquiri shop, you got to be determined to do it. Ain't nobody else going to step out there and do it for you. So at the end of the day, it's not, to me, you know what I'm saying, it's simple.
Right.
You got to want to do it, period.
Gotcha. Barry, you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, I like that determination thing there. I was going to add, make a plan when you talked about, as far as that, making a plan on how you want to do this. Mm-hmm. And that's going to come in with getting educated too. You want to buy a home, you have to do A, B, C, D. Okay, this is what you're going to have to do. Start getting that information ready. Start whatever it takes. Go get that information. Pay stubs and all that. Hey, they make it so easy now to get all this information. It shouldn't. You shouldn't have. Okay, you already know you need it. So why does a mortgage, the lender, or somebody have to ask you, and a week later you still haven't gotten it to them? You know you need this. Make a plan on what you need to do. If you need to start paying these bills on time, start getting your credit right. Make a plan on how you're gonna get that credit right. Make a plan. Start saving. You're gonna need money. Start saving. Make a plan on how you're gonna save money every paycheck or whatever, and put it aside for that earnest money, that down payment, and closing costs. Make a plan. Same thing with investing. You got to make a plan, especially when you're doing investing, because you're looking at the price of the home, then you're looking at the AVR and how much they're gonna loan you. How much are your repairs gonna be. So you have to make a plan on how you're gonna to do that.
Gotcha. So what they say, success is preparation meets opportunity. So just being planning out and being prepared.
Because one thing, I always see people that want the house and want the big house, but it's like, okay, well, what are you doing to get it?
Right. Right. What's your methodology for Mo? You want to chime in on that?
Yeah, staying motivated, writing down your plan, because 30% more chance happens if you write it. Surrounding yourself with good people. More than likely you're around some toxic people if you don't have a house right now. Changing what you see on social media, because I go back to that, even though that might not seem like it might be a problem. I feel like following people that, and things are nice to look at, like the ocean, is fine. But always following someone who's always going out on vacations or always going out to eat, that might not be the smartest person to follow in the next 2 years, or at least in 24 months. So let's just take a break from that. And that's why I'm like, people are like, oh, well, that's not going to matter. And I'm like, but what if you just cut it out and you actually start following things that are more motivational? You start following more home tours. You start motivating yourself every morning. And I'm like, I love Eric Thomas. Like, I'll send you my whole YouTube playlist. I don't listen to anything else. So I'm like, I feel like the more you surround yourself, and as tedious as it might be, and as weird, like brainwashing as it is, the more obsessed you are about getting your home, you will get a home. So I'm like, if you are so obsessed about getting something, you will find a way to get it. So the object now is to surround yourself with a thing that you want so badly that you're obsessing over it almost every day.
Right. So you was positive PMA, abundance mind state, and vision, what you want, and reinforce that by surrounding yourself with it. So CJ, you want to go ahead and tackle?
Most of them, you gotta have one as bad as you want to breathe, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
I would say one word that I think about hearing everybody speak is being intentional. Like, real estate is going to be one of the biggest investments you'll make. And especially on the investment side, if you're not intentional, if you're not educated, if you're not aware of what's going on in the market. For example, if you want to invest in flip houses, we're seeing prices drop. How much of that is going to eat into your margin? Can you survive off of that? Are you able to shift with the shifting market instead of flipping? Do you want to buy and hold? So it's all about being educated and being intentional in what you do.
Gotcha. So you just got to be, you kind of echoing what Corey was saying, determinations, and so you got to be intentional. Just make sure. I would add to it like this, just to kind of make it like a point. So somebody said, actually it was a Nigerian motivational speaker that said, you got to have a target in order to hit. If you don't have a target, you're just shooting everywhere. So, and you got to, and that gives you the intent. All right, this is my target, and then you got to focus on that target. Because other than that, you're just shooting everywhere. So I would say, I most took piece of what I was going to say, but I'm going to go ahead and enhance my New Year's resolution for this year is 3 words: find good people. And that's with everything. You know, you got to have. First of all, we're communal beings, so you know you're not going to do anything by yourself. You can't just bloop bloop. Here goes a house. So you got to find good people that's willing to help you and have your best interests in mind. And you can easily judge a tree by the fruit that it bears. So you look around. If it's a bunch of bad fruit coming from that tree, you automatically assume something's wrong with the tree. So you got to check that person's. It's just like it's easy to get information or misinformation online. You can easily check that background or the track record of that person online. So you can see the reviews. From one site, you can see if they're scam artists. You could get in Reddit, these little Reddit groups, and see what's the background. They're gonna check you out. So if you got a good reputation, and your business is stellar, it's gonna show. It's gonna be out there. If you scam somebody, you mess over somebody, you take somebody's money, it's gonna be out there. This is the information age. Somebody's gonna write you a review or something. So find good people, find people that have the good reviews, and find people that have the like values. Because what happens is, Barry and I talk about this all the time, is that person's why has to be similar to your why. Because if not, then you could be going against your common interest. I had Barry, was it your customer?
Yeah.
It was your
talking
customer.
about yeah.
You already know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Quick story. So we had this woman closed. I'm quick on boom. CJ could attest. I'm quick. Even before when I was in retail, I could close the things in 21 days, and so now I'm 7 days now. So, but we had this woman damn near closed, and I told her, hey, you got to pay this one thing off to really, and it was like what, something real like $200 or something like that, right?
Yeah, it wasn't
something I
a
knew.
lot.
But she found a lender in Tennessee.
Oh, she was from Tennessee? Oh, I didn't know where
she's
she
from Tennessee. Blonde hair, totally out your community. So I go to digging, and this person is a Tea Partier.
Really?
So who are you spending your money with? You know what I mean? So
to be your own people.
So we gotta have people that it's counterproductive to people that don't have do business with people that don't have your interest in mind. So we got to be cognitive of that as a group. Like, man, you spending money with these people that don't give a damn about you. When the last time you seen a Chinese food restaurant commercial? When last time you seen them give away turkeys in the hood? When last time you see Louis V in the hood giving away some backpacks? I want some Louis V backpacks in the hood. You know what I mean? So you spending money with these people that don't give a damn about you. And with CJ and I go through this as well. Like, man, you go into this bank way out of town. We local. We black owned. See this the dude is a ghost, but this is black owned logo. So why would you spend your money with people that's not in your community? So you got to find people that have your common interests in mind. If you shine, I shine. That's how we got to look at it. And it's going to be greater later because I think we'd have lost that communal sense. We're communal beings, but we'd have lost the communal sense. You know what I mean? So I think that's the winning formula. Find people that have your why. That way they're going to go harder for you. Make sure you're in the right situation to take care of you. You know what I mean? As opposed to just being transactional. Don't want to be bothered with you anyway. Don't give a damn. And just going to stick you into whatever gives them the biggest commission.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So that's my winning formula. Find good people. Find good people. Find people that have your why similar. Not just because I went to high school with this dude. He was a captain of the football team, so I'm a good business with him. All right, but y'all two different zones. Why why not?
Never hung out together.
Never hung out together. Why you got to dig a little bit deeper, and the information's out there. That's why everything's becoming more and more compartmentalized. And I don't want to be too long. As far as investing, man, you gotta almost the same thing. You got to switch your mind frame to if you want financial freedom, it's not gonna come like that. I want to say echo what Barry said as far as planning. Plan to put, a 5-year plan together, 10-year plan together, because in order to be financially free, you're not going to do that with one transaction. Even if I do a mean flip, I'm not going to get rich off that mean flip. It's a series of plays. You got to make first downs before you make the touchdown. You got to make a few touchdowns to win the game. You got to win a few games before you go to the playoffs. You got to win. It's a process. So I don't get why we rich. How does that happen?
Instagram.
We want it now attitude. I want it now. I don't want to wait. That's why a lot of our credit is bad, because we want it now.
Right, like come on. This is
no matter what the interest rate is, we want it now.
Yeah.
Go for the house.
So
yeah.
But I would say patience, even with anything. It's crazy. I gotta edit this out, man. I gotta talk about this. This is my therapy. We talked about we just talk about our cameraman. Hauled off and quit on us because you get more hours at your waiter job. Like, bro, after the holidays they're gonna start cutting hours again, right? Right. Then you're gonna be back. Too late now. We find somebody else. So people cut their nose that want it now, and what's happening right now. It's not going. You're never going to get rich. You're never going to get rich quick. Is an oxymoron. Doesn't happen.
Right.
And it's a mind frame. Even if I gave you $1 million, you wouldn't know what to do with it. You'll be poor again. Like what is this? Dave Chappelle said, KFC now has record sales. Cadillac is the Cadillac stock that went on the. You know what I mean? So it's the mentality of the now, and we keep a lot of people in business. Rent their own places. All this. This buy here, pay here. The credit, a lot of credit stuff, man. If you
rent a center and all
that stuff is for people that don't have
$2,000 for a $300 TV.
and that's the poor mentality. The poor mentality is they think money is to pay bills.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, then money is not. Money is to make more money. Period. I don't know. That's all it is. That's what it's for. So I don't want to get on my pulpit too much. We about 8 minutes over. So any last thoughts? Anything? We don't have that much in the actual comment box. So any last thoughts y'all want to bring to the table before we go ahead and do our outros and wrap it up for this week? Nothing? Come on, man.
Look, I wanted to hit on one thing that was kind of random from what we kind of talked about here.
Right.
And Mo hit on it earlier when she talked about it. And I think in our community we don't necessarily value internships the way that we should.
Right.
And the internship that Mo did, I'm pretty sure the lessons, the structure, everything that she did was almost invaluable.
Right.
To what she's going to, what moving forward in life, right? So I'm pretty sure you said it was worth the price of admission, whatever it was, right? But a lot of times, regardless of if it's paid internship or if it's not paid internship, when you learn those lessons and you learn those things, those tricks of the trade that they already learned, and it shortens your learning curve, like it's almost that boost that you need to get started in life.
Right.
So I just wanted to touch on that a lot of people, don't necessarily talk about it, especially in our community. We don't talk about internships as much unless you're going into a specialized field. You know what I mean? You don't necessarily have to be in a specialized field to go into internships. Right. So I wanted to bring that to attention to people, that not only just, getting out and just getting a job, but value internships as well. Because I'm telling you, it's priceless.
I love that you brought that up because at the time when I took the internship, all my friends were telling me that was stupid.
Right.
And I mean, like everyone. I had people in nursing school. I had people in tech. Like all my friends in Kennesaw and Southern Poly were like, "Why would you do this for real estate? You're in school for speech pathology." And I'm like, I don't know, but if I learned one thing in real estate, it's still worth a summer. It's still worth knowing something about how to buy a house because that was never taught to us in high school, and here in college, it's never been taught. So here I have an opportunity to learn anything about real estate for a summer, and you guys are telling me crazy, oh, I can get a paid internship. Why am I? And it was, this is a luxury team. So they're like, why are you going to go work for these people? They're going to treat you like, and they treat me like trash. I mean, Starbucks coffee, Devil's Wears Prada, stereotypical, ran me through the mud for 3 months. And I thought I did horrible. They said in August, would you like a full-time job? I was like, I didn't think y'all liked me.
Right.
They're like, you're a great worker. You have a great phone voice. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, they started paying me, and then I got that first check, and I was like, okay. So the 3 months was worth it. So I'm like,
100%.
but if I say that now to someone coming out of Kennesaw, it's like, are you crazy? Why would I work for free? And it's like,
Right.
that's so crazy to me because I'm like, I was excited about my internship, but I think a lot of people aren't in that same mind frame coming out of college at like 21, 22.
Uh-huh.
Right.
I think it's so many, just being a fly on the wall. So like I'm saying, even if you think about some of the personal assistants that work for, for example, that work for Diddy or whatever, you know what I'm saying? The information and the value that they had. Now they're probably holding coffee, which is what Mo did, you know what I'm saying, or whatever the case may be, but they're in the same meeting rooms and they're learning people mannerisms. How do you negotiate? How you do this? How you do that? And now you automatically have a leg up over anybody that's sitting in a classroom because the classroom ain't gonna teach you real life lessons.
It's real
That's
experience. Yeah.
It's funny. I want to say this. It's funny. We'll spend hundreds, 5 digits for sure, sometimes 6 figures on education. That's going to make you a worker, but we won't spend $5, $20 on a book that could make you millions, or give sweat equity, like Mo was saying, a little bit of your time to make you hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars.
For $1 million worth of game.
Yeah.
Right. So the game is invaluable. So I don't get it. But we'll spend $100,000 for that diploma.
Yeah. And like I said, I was in speech pathology. So after that year, I still have 4 more years of my graduate to go.
Right.
And after that tech, I'm like, why would I spend so much more money to go to school when this is it? And I'm like, no one is talking about this. I'm gonna go scream it to the rooftops.
What is the top end? What is the top 10% in that field? What do they make?
Maybe 80, 100K. But
that's a good money in real estate.
But when you talk about just the student debt for one,
Right.
the stress, because this isn't just like Kennesaw was already hard for me, but I think when it came to the graduate program, I was already apprehensive and my heart wasn't in it. Like I was already doing labs and I was like, this is cool. Helping kids is nice. I don't like it.
Right.
I don't like this. So I'm like, I want to help little special kids. This is cool, fun. But I'd rather be out doing real estate. And my heart was in real estate. And my passion was like, I was excited to go to work. It was so weird. And people were like, why are you excited to go to a real estate team every day? I'm like, because we get leads. I get call the leads. I get check. If they go through with closing, like, why wouldn't I be excited for that? And then I would have to go to school. I was like, okay, we have labs today. Read for 4 hours. You got to go help this, kid over here in Cobb County for free. And I'm like, this is horrible. And my family's like, oh, this is great. You're a doctor. You're going to be a doctor. And I'm like, but I'm not happy. And I'm like, that's so hard, especially coming from a Nigerian background, because all your cousins are like doctors or engineers. So it's like
Mhm.
such a pressure, and they all thought I was crazy. My family was like, "Why are you doing an internship for real estate? That makes no sense." And in Nigeria, the way real estate works over there is more like through family. So as long as you have a nice family, you will always have a place to go. It doesn't work the same way in America, or it has the same power. So I'm like, you guys don't understand the way it works here in America, the way you own property. And it's such a big opportunity that no one knows about. And I was just like, well, at this point, I feel like the speech pathology route just wasn't what my heart was in. And I'm like, my heart is always in real estate. Like I can wake up every day and talk about real estate.
Was saying this before I get the intro because this is important for our community to know as well. If you look around, most communities get their money here in the United States and go back home to live. So they do business here and they go abroad and spend their money with the community and build communities from there. You know, look at the Asian community, look at the Middle Eastern community. The business is here because you don't forget that the U.S. is a corporation. You know, there's no such thing as the United States here. You know, so this is a corporation. So it's geared to do business. It's geared for LLCs. Like there's incentives, like Mo said earlier. You do 3 of your LLC, 2 of your regular person, individual. So it's geared and incentivized to do business here. So I think we need to look at just real estate as a whole, and maybe looking at not only real estate here, but even setting up our portfolio here, maybe moving abroad. I'm thinking about that as well. Moving back on Banana Island or something like that, and I can live like a king because it's a fraction of the cost. I don't know about Banana Island, but you know, other countries.
No, yeah, you're absolutely like the same example. My Nigerian aunt helped her moved into a nice little condo in Lenox. Same aunt,
Right.
Always talking. So we help her move. She sells her condo, I think, in 2018, 2019 to a developer because they're knocking the building down. So she goes back to Nigeria and she builds a mansion.
Right.
And I'm just like, with that little bit equity of 4 or 5 years,
Right.
and really able
Life
to
changing.
build a whole mansion.
Right. You muted you. Yeah, life changing. I was showing CJ the other day, you could buy condos, and that's why Ross is out there. Rick Ross is out there right now. You can buy condos in Tanzania for like 42K. I'm talking about luxury.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's set up. You know, gouge here in the United States, but go abroad and maybe live abroad where there's a lot more. Why try to keep up with Joneses here? I know everybody got to go. I know everybody answers, so let's do the outros and let's go and roll out, and we'll continue this next week. I know CJ, I know you got a roll, so you want to go ahead and do your outro first?
Always put it on me. It's all good.
I know you got it. So
I appreciate everybody for tuning in. CJ, the Realtor here in Houston, Texas. Check me out on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff at CJ Sells Texas, CJSELLSTX. Hit me up if you have any questions on my sales 832-338-3182. Check out the web, greenwoodrealtytx.com. If you also are interested in what we got going on with the Lux tours of the Houston market on the luxury side of the game, check out my YouTube channel, CJ the Realtor. On there, we're highlighting some of these luxury properties, some of the nice ones that Houston has to offer. So our nonprofit, where we give back to our young men, the Mansa Academy. Check out the website, themansaacademy.org. We teach our young men knowledge of self, self-improvement, and entrepreneurship. If you're looking to donate time or money, check out the website. The forms are there. The PayPal link is there. We'd appreciate whatever you want to do. And we're just going to level it up in 23.
Yep, very good. Barry.
All right, Barry B. Barry Bolston, Keller Williams Professionals, 832-786-1270. Looking to buy, sell, or invest real estate here in the Houston and surrounding areas. I'm on IG, Facebook, all the other ones. I even have a YouTube channel. Just if you Google Homes by Barry B, you're gonna get me.
Gotcha.
There's so many of them out there now.
Right, Mo. You want to tell them where you can find you? You know, their your websites and your contact info.
Yeah. Website is mosellsatl.com. Mosellsatl at IG, YouTube. You can find me on Facebook that way as well. And I'm also on TikTok, same exact username. Yeah, that's it.
Gotcha. Corey.
All right, Corey Smith, favorite lender. I'm gonna make this short. I'm gonna have to work on my Instagram. You know what I'm saying? My social media. And all.
I'm still waiting though. Yeah, well,
That's 2023 resolution right there. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get social media right. Yeah.
Right.
Look, I feel like, you know what I'm saying, CJ and B Dix make me look bad.
Right.
Anyways, give me a call 832-297-7659 or shoot me an email at smithmortgageteam@gmail.com.
Gotcha. I'm gonna make mine brief. I'm not gonna go through all of them because you know. So, but you know, I'm gonna make mine brief. But
brief is 5 minutes.
Yeah, I really want to plug the YouTube, man. We got about 1,000 subscribers. We need to get to 5,000 by the end of the year. We need 5,000 subs, man. So tell a friend, man. You like the content? We're gonna work very hard on the content this year. You know, I was trying to be humble, you know. So now, you know, y'all want the flex. Y'all want to see the cribs and the cars. Y'all want to see me buy these cars off the lot. Y'all want to see these $1 million dreams, you know. So I'm about to flex a little bit for the ground. So I was trying to be humble, you know. But nobody wasn't watching my motivational stuff. So you know, everybody want to see me get hopping on planes and stuff. All right, y'all want that? Y'all want here you go. You know, so
get the people what they want, B.
Get the people what they want. You know, so we got some content coming out. Again, home tours, Lux Edition, the Home Express. I mean, the Express Edition and the Lux Edition. We got Behind the Sauce, where you're gonna follow me around as I take these trips and all this stuff here. And we got the Power of Ownership podcast. So if you want to hear about home ownership and want to dive deep into the granular and get into that top 1% of earners, you know, we talk about not only home ownership of properties, but home ownership of ownership of businesses, intellectual property, so on and so forth. So we talk about the whole diaspora thing. So with that being said, we're gonna take y'all out for this week. Y'all come back next week. Every week we're gonna be here at 7:30 on Tuesday, man. With that, we're gonna say peace.
Peace.
All right.
Later.